hold up. Are we live? Are we live here? Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And guess what he did? He did what his nature would do: reproduce, reproduce, reproduce. But what else of the nature? Because this is driven by testosterone. What else is of the nature?
Mm.
The male is naturally lazy.
This is just general practice, but actual facts and testimony, the truth. So today is the 3rd of January 2024. Now, for the most of us, we've been through some real obstacles and trials and testaments. You feel what I'm saying? That strengthen our character, that strengthen um our faith, forced us to have to turn to our faith to understand the wickedness of the spiritual warfares that we as a people have been going through right now in this era of timing, when we're, pretty much 99% of the prophecy being unveiled. Like today, we're entering into a new era. 2023 was the era of the struggle of man. Where this is, actually through the whole COVID epidemic, and you feel what I'm saying, you're going through. That's when the attacks of the enemy really begin on us as a people. And when I speak on collective, I'm speaking on the God bodies, the goddess bodies, you know what I'm saying, the awakened, the spiritually in tune and enlightened ones. And this does not exclude anyone, because we all can get there. It's just about how you choose to assess or internalize the truth and the struggles. And you have to have some form of spiritual aligning with the universe, and understand that we are spiritual beings having a human encounter, not human being having a spiritual encounter. The attacks that the enemy has had on us, and a lot of things that it's like shock to the senses, like, dang, this happened to me, or how would this happen to me? I'm on point and this and that. But the truth of the matter is, as mortal beings, understand we are ill-equipped to be able to deal with the unseen realm, that fifth dimension. Brother 19 Keys, he spit the dynamics of the third dimension, and then the fifth dimension. The third dimension is the housing of where we're at right now. The third dimension is the housing of where we're at right now. The fifth dimension is that spiritual realm. That's that unseen force, and the fact of beings not conscious or not aware to understand the difference between spirit and soul. That's why so many mortal human beings are being trapped inside of personality, seeing personality as the spiritual, our spiritual essence, that God body, or God's bodiness in us, being men and women of God. So you feel what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that have been taking place that we don't see, that, that we don't understand, of course, because we're trapped inside of we only believing in what we can see, and not the unseen. We believe in the tangible, not the intangibles. The tangibles are the things that you can see physically. These phones, understand, these phones are tangible products because we can see. We know what the reception of what phones are is that, you feel what I'm saying? The unseen is the connection that we make when we push that call button and we speak to someone on the other side. That's the intangibleness of the phone, the dynamics of understanding, comprehending what these or what these mechanisms are. And and the thing with churches today, and what's so sad to man, like, that we should be offended by that, is because we have really truly uncertified beings handling the divinity of the creator, the almighty, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Elohim, Jehovah Shahada, Jehovah Makedesh, Jehovah Rophe, um the thing about that is that we don't um is that people get the spirit and the soul mixed up. The soul is like a computer chip. Like you get a new CD-ROM and it's clean. Um, the more that you function with that computer, the more it grows, the more it begins to develop a personality of who and what the operator or the administrator of this PC is. You understand what I'm saying? Because now they got it to where technology is that they structured things, understand, to pick up your voices and your voice analysts and your thought process by the more that you put up in there. And then you can begin to communicate with assistant, Google Assistant or Alexa, and you can have an actual conversation with this AI, this artificial intelligence. And and it begins to develop something, right? So your soul is your personality, and when God created man in his light, in his image and after his likeness, his image is something that's physically seen. His likeness is internal. That's the intangible. The image is the tangible, which you can see here as Therese Allen Lewis, BKA Gematria X. Um, um, First of all, for all of you that don't know me or that'll be following me, streaming with me, my name is Therese Lewis. I'm from Michigan, but they call it the Dirty Mitten. You know what I'm saying? I'm 48 years of age. I turned 48 December 5th. Um, I've been through a like long sojourn. My mission in life, my mission through this consciously through this world and through my life calling began at the age of 9, 10 years old. Um, um, I got a history. I was incarcerated. I served 15 and a half years on a life situation that was a state in the process of karmic flows. I've been about that life. I've been in the streets. You feel what I'm saying? For many years, existing in the darkness. Um, but it's those little experiences that enlighten us and it wakes us up to life, to the actual life. Like you're taken outside of that matrix, now you're inside of, or you're taken outside of that basic training, now you're in the actual warfare. This is like a run trial, but it's nothing in life or about life that's a set point, a preparation point, because when life is, you have to adjust and deal with that accordingly. My existence, and through my sojourn, from the age of 15, is when I entered into the system. Eventually, my documentary, autobiography, walks in the life of Therese Allen Lewis. That is a work in progress. I lost a lot of the manuscripts in a fire, a flood my mother had. With my original document, it was something that I started when I was incarcerated. Um, um, so I went through this little sojourn in life. It's kind of like Perseus in the Clash of the Titans. Certain things that I had to deal with in life to become the being that I have evolved into this day, and further evolving into that light. And my mission in this life is to emulate the light and glory and majesty of God inwardly, outwardly into the universe. So I am a walking testament. I'm 48. I look this way, but I'm ancient in this piece. You understand me? So I come from that life, about that life. My life has been under the most savages of intellectuals and criminals, cons and pros. It's 11:11 right now. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, though, I went through my little plight. And it was a soul searching agenda, something that forced you to like really get a good look at yourself and understand your ability, your capability, your capacities in life. So I ended up going through, the first couple years of my bid, rebelling against the system, rebelling against life, rebelling against anybody that got my way of I'm gonna make it through this piece because my mother needs me. I got children out there. I lived a life. I messed up. So you feel what I'm saying? But in that being broken down, you understand, was God's means, the universe means to build me up with structure, with savvy, with intellect, with knowledge, with and the ability to internalize it and apply it to life, to comprehend it. So I ended up getting going through my sojourn, the religious aspect of my spirituality. I'm a spiritual being. I don't do like churches, you know what I'm saying? I use the divine doctrines in my studies to be able to, get a comprehension on life, on God, or on my purpose of being here in this lifetime, in this lifespan, my calling in this, because I survived over 30 million sperm cells fighting to get to that egg. So that in itself was divinity right there. And that right there was a purpose for my life. A lot of individuals through this world don't know me because I'm just that big fish in that little pond. Really just like really placing myself out here. So like I say, my life sojourn, and I began to my spiritual quest. I began fellowshipping with a few of my homeboys who were with the Sunni Muslims, and Islamic religious sect. And to understand to understand who God was, and to understand what everyone was shed light on with me about the fact that I'm created in the image and after the likeness of God. So you know what I'm saying, I had this study in science the two elements of me, my spirit and my flesh. And one thing that a lot of people need to understand, why I stated that there's a lot of pastors and a lot of preachers, fathers, and rabbis, reverends, who are mishandling the divinity of God through the powerful units of churches, temples, and things of that nature. Is because what they're doing there, they're telling you what God wants, but they're not telling you how to be you and how to operate in that capacity to be the greatest version of you. Religion opens you up to a truth, and then it captures you right there and leaves you stuck. So you have to search, you have to seek, and you're gonna find. You gotta knock. You open them books up, understand, and that door be open to you. And you have to ask, but you have to, there's a particular way that you come to the universe to get things, because God communicates to man through man. The Spirit of God is in all of us, whether you're conscious of it or not. So I started going through that little plight, and getting into the research and such. I have conscious blood in my lineage. The individuals of the Moorish Science Temple, individuals in the Nation of Islam. So, you know what I'm saying? Since I've been Yeti, I've been kind of conscious and that radical militant. I have a military upbringing. My grandfather, Walter Rudolph Neal, he fought in the Korean War, 18 hours a day for years, like literally, and survived that sojourn, understand, and now here I am. I've always taken a lot of things in life serious because my life wasn't silver spooned. My life, I recognized that I was different at a younger age. Like when everybody was messing with Sega Genesis and out there riding bikes and Nintendos and playing basketball, and I found myself confined in my room reading Encyclopedia Britannicas, or getting off into the Encyclopedia Britannicas and entering into those dimensions of those worlds, the things that was coming inside of my inner universe. So I began dealing with them. Then, that's on the spiritual. And then, I was raised I was raised under a Jehovah's Witness banner. So God has I always comprehended certain stories of the Bible and metaphors and things of that nature. So that was a introduction into my spirituality. Um, However, my plight in life, like I said, I went through, sit with the Sunnah for a bit. Then the nation, and then the Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun, which now is considered in the system of STG, a security threat group, because the honorable prophet, the principal prophet of the Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun is Nat Turner, not by his rebellious nature of spirit. But it's amazing when you truly look at, and I practice that, and I've been a member collectively of that for over 22 years. That kind of like ironed out my wrinkles and understanding self as a man, as an African man here on these northern shores of America. Know thyself, you are God. So you know what I'm saying? You have to know thyself. You have to know yourselves in order to be able to understand your capacity and your direction, your aim in life, right? In order to know, in order to get to to a certain plight in life, you have to know a certain insight or information to be able to navigate through the world in. So I began that spiritual understanding of distinction of, and then I began to understand the history of man, the flesh. And that kind of really put me on a whole nother spectrum when you really look at uh because I have global, I have universal goals and dreams. um I had the brand of a felony hold me back. You feel that? So felonies kind of hold me back from being um a success story in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of my brothers, are out here, a lot of human being out here, who have went through similarly situated condition or circumstance. They return back to the things that got them where they were in the system. And I went through that sojourn as well. You feel what I'm saying? Because I got out. I was out for 5 years, had a nice 5-year run, went to college. Actually, I've entertained over 5 different universities. Started business. These are things that were my core value, my focuses at, you know what I'm saying, when I was incarcerated. But not to deviate, but I eventually picked up a great sense of self and pride and honor and self. And like I said, it's took it now. I'm 48. It's took me over 40 something years to like really work the shade off that darkness. Because I began to normalize a whole lot of things, a whole lot of darkness, a whole lot of wow, you know what I'm saying? But amazing grace. How sweet the sound to save the wretch like me. And when I say that, I'm talking about savagely. Um, Savagely. But knowing thyself, that's powerful. But to really get a glimpse of who you are and what you are and the authority that you're here under, that is powerful when you're applying yourself through all the stumbling blocks in life that comes at you. Um, so I began to learn a whole lot of things, and it just brings me to the era of the COVID form. When that epidemic began, which was the year that the enemy was set loose to try to devour, to seek, uh, to steal, kill, and destroy, to bust down. You feel what I'm saying? But here we are today, and we made it here, 2024. Um, 2023 for the majority, the most of us, was very horrific, very challenging, very complex for us to wrap our minds around. Um, like I say, a lot of spiritual warfare has been going on, and if you don't understand, if you don't know self, or if you don't have a little gist of knowledge of spirituality, and that there is a God, you're going to be consumed in this darkness, this eventually evolving. However, we've made it to this point in the race. We made it through 2023, 2020, 2023. We made it through these eras, and it's all grace and thanks be to God for the simple fact that we are here and we're sound-minded, able-bodied, and we strong, standing 10 toes down. So 2023, and the thing is, you have to know self. We was created in the image and after the likeness, in the image and after the likeness of God. So you got to understand that there is a twofold existence of man, which is your higher self and your lower self, your spiritual and your physical, your carnal and your spiritual. So once you distinguish that and you understand it, your soul, your personality is something that's structured through experience, through life, and things of that nature. Then you'll begin to understand there's a big distinction between the infallible, the inevitable powers that you summon from the universe, from the gods, to your advantage, to your usage. And the universe is only going to give you what you're really able to handle. So you feel what I'm saying? The prayer is powerful. Prayer is powerful. And the church, where the church fails us at, is the fact that the church does not breathe on us about ourselves. They talk about God and about the world and the carnality and all of these things, but they don't give you that what defines that thin line between the two, because the spirit is dominant and supreme, but your soul has a power in itself, and that's what navigates us. That's what you can control people by the way they think. So if I limit the actual truths from the people, they're always going to be cleaving, coming to us and waiting for that change to come, and and keep running to the church and steady being deceived, and to the defense of many, they don't even know. They don't even understand the damage and the devastations that they're doing to these actual lives and people of God. That's why the doctrine teaches you to, there would be a lot of false prophets. You have to be careful of the doctrinations that you take in and from whom the sources is bringing them to you. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain, is God blessed us with sound minds. God blessed us with the will to decide to, and we got enough experience in life to know the difference between right and wrong. And you understand what I'm saying? So I'm delegated off of universal morality now in this life, and I'm trying to get into it because there's been a lot of trying to break free from all them chains and all the mental blockages and the miseducations and all of that stuff. So you know what I'm saying? I kept having conflicts between the identity of my spirit and my soul, and which capacity I was functioning under. And when I realized that, man, I've been moved more by the material element of me, the physical element of being satisfied those physical needs and things of that nature, to whereas majority of us, we said that the spirit, forget that, and we turned our back on God. And such, God's always here. As long as we're here, we're animated right now. That the spirit within me, God is communicating to me and through me. So at the end of the day, what we're here seeking, understand, is knowledge of self and the power and authority that we're under, as awakened beings, as we have elevated from the subconscious into the consciousness now, and we're aware of our action. And this is at the point where we become accountable for our own actions. It don't matter what you were doing prior to, unless you was violating some of the holy commandments, killing, stealing, bearing false witness, understand against your brother, and placing other objects above God, because God is a jealous God. Oh, and that wrath is something else. And when you agree the Holy Spirit of God within man, it is a wrath that's coming at that karmic rhythm. Is going to come and crush you. Do you understand that? Right now is a timing in our era, in our time frequency, to right the wrongs of the things that we've done. In order for us to do that, we have to restructure our mind, and we have to rid our mind of old beliefs. And a lot of people think that it's too hard, so I'm just going to be content with and just allow this. But the thing is, by you sitting there being content and allowing this, what you're doing is you're really just spitting in the face of God. You're slapping God in the face, like, what is more important to you than God? So that the doctrine teaches you that you have to crucify your flesh daily. You have to crucify your flesh daily. Because now what happened? You done bit that fruit. Now your eyes have been made open, and some people are caught in the lusts of the lifestyles, that's being living based on their character and personality has been structured around the material world, materialisms. And that's what identifies that is what a lot of people identify themselves by. Um, so the distinction between the spirit and the soul is that you once you begin to understand that God formed man, metaphorically speaking, man was formed. We were formed in the womb. You get it? And that spirit of life came into us, and we became a living being. When God breathed, the metaphor of God breathing into the nostrils of that flesh, that form, that clay that man God formed in his light, in his image, when he breathed into that, life began and we became living beings. That life, that our physical bodies and the soul is a very powerful entity, because we grasp on the things that we grasp on. We're is a duality of life, and we're evolving on positive and negative. Was pleasant to us, pleasurable for us, and the was not pleasurable or pleasant to us. You understand me? And as mortal man, we gravitate to the things that are pleasing to us. Just like when Eve bit that apple, and her eyes became open. Everything that she seen was, it was pleasing to her. It was stimulating to her mind and pleasing to her eyes. So that's what gravitated her into that. So in life is a process of biting those fruit. Sometimes we bite those forbidden fruit. But once you begin to understand you have to study. You have to be Christ-like. You have to study, or to be Yeshua. You have to study. That you have to study that lifeline, that life pillar. So to say, you have to understand the distinction and what's driving you. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of us understand we've been driven by, like I say, the carnal things, the material things of this world, and that's been what has been defining us, and that's why we constantly experience the struggles and things of life. I used to chase that dollar down like a hawk, man. Bloodhound scholar for that stuff, man. But my brother Kajan, the ocean man, he breathed an experience, and he shared one thing with me. And I'm not being too personal with the expression of that, but he had a contract that he was going to, all he had to do was sign it, and he had $10 million. And he said, I didn't take it. What? 10 million? Who is not going to take $10 million? Understand this. This is not insanity. This is just a man of conviction, a man of standing, and he stood on his belief in the spiritual realm. And because he knew what entailed that $10 million, man, and that's being a slave to something, man. It's like when you become awakened. Now, once you're awakened and you're open, now you be held accountable for your actions. And for one that been through that, and for one to like turn that away, and then I'm gonna live as Jesus did down here. I'm gonna go through the struggles, and I'm gonna go through these things like that. However, that was a strong core value that I peeped in a man, in a human being, when I was communicating and engaging with God. And that kind of helped transform me into like opening my eyes up and really looking at what is it that I'm chasing. Because I mean, I could have that bag and everything, understand. However, and I can get the money that comes from that. However, I'm a slave to it because it has me constantly chasing this illusion. Because it takes money to make money. And the more that you get, the more that you spend. So on that note, I'm about to end this. We at a half an hour right now. But understanding the flesh and the spirit, this is the first pillar of restructuring your foundation to who and what you are and whose authority that you're under. The focus was leaving the things, the trials, the struggles, the battles, the wars that we've been through in 2023, entering into this new prosperous, blessed, and holy era of 2024, man. Like I say, a lot of us been through battles, wars, you understand me, did this unhuman. And for people to grasp why that is, loss of relationships like out of the blue, destruction of destinies just out of the blue, destruction of businesses, financial poverties, and all of these things, man. It's a result of an unseen war that we were looking at life, but we weren't seeing life. We weren't seeing self. And that's how we was duped and pulled off into that deceptive mode of the enemy, Satan, the devil, Shaitan, Iblis, Lucifer. However you choose to define the operator of the physical world and its legion of those demons. Understand this though, and this is the power of us with the Archangel Michael behind us. 1/3 of the angels was cast out of the heaven, left behind Satan. You got 2/3 mightier, understand? 2/3 understand with you. And that's an ancestral thing. We'll be eventually getting off into these topics and things of that nature. A spiritual thing, understand how you crush generational curses or covenant vows that we pledge to the ruler of darkness, and the principalities of darkness in high places and things of that nature, man. Self-awareness is what it's about, man. And now you're under straight to the facts, straight to the point, by Therese Allen Lewis. And y'all have a blessed day, a holy day, and know that you are blessed, and know that you are entering into your dimension of blessings. We inherit that just through our conception, our spiritual conception. We are heirs of the throne. We are children of the Most High. And in that, understand, comes all the wealth in the world that we need. Feel me? Knowledge is power, but the application and execution of it is powerful. The family, we out this piece.